Hi, my name is Erica, and I recently completed the prenatal core training program with the Tummy team. And this is my story. So what is the Tummy team, you might be asking? The Tummy team is an online physical therapy clinic run by Kelly Dean and her small team out of Washington State. And they specialize in core and pelvic floor rehabilitation. So I am currently 37 weeks pregnant, expecting my first child. But when I was about 14 weeks along, I started noticing this odd burning sensation in my upper right abdomen. It was very sporadic, came just for like a few minutes to half an hour every 3 to 4 days, and I didn't really know what to make of it. And so I did bring it up to my doctor at my next appointment, and she figured from my description that it was simply heartburn related, and so I left it. But within the next few weeks it was just growing more and more frequent and consistent. I tried asking my physiotherapist about it, whom I was seeing at the time, and his assessment was just that it was basically regular pregnancy aches and pains, and he didn't really have much to add. But it got to, by about the 20-week mark for sure, it had gotten to the point where it was all day, every day, from morning until night. This constant nagging, burning pain. It would range in severity, so there were definitely times during the day where I wouldn't notice it as much, but then there was times where I was waking up because of the pain and having to ask my husband to get me an ice pack or something to try to soothe it. Along with that, I was also noticing some mid-back pain to the point where the muscles were extremely tense and swollen, and I could not drive comfortably. I couldn't sit comfortably. I remember at one point having to literally pull over onto the side of the road to get out of my car because of the distance that I was driving, and realizing that I couldn't make it without getting out and trying to stretch things out and relieve some of that muscle tension, or that pain, whatever it was coming from. And yeah, I wasn't going to be able to make it to my destination without stopping. And I was just getting so frustrated and discouraged at this point. I was just over halfway through my pregnancy, or right around halfway through my pregnancy, and was having a very hard time seeing how I was going to make it to the end. I felt like I was falling apart. So one night I was scrolling through YouTube and came across a YouTube video from the Tummy team. And I don't even remember what exactly it was I was looking for in the first place, but this video that I came across with Kelly describing this muscle, this transverse abdominis, and describing just like where it is in your body and where it connects to and what it all does, I just was like, wow, that just sounds so right. Like, that just sounds very much like where I am experiencing pain. And so I followed the video to their website and took a bit of a look around, and was very intrigued, but very unsure. I didn't really know what to make of it. So after leaving it for a few days and giving it some more thought, I decided to email them and just see what they said. I didn't know if I was going to be a good fit for any of their programs. I didn't know for sure if what I was experiencing was what I thought I was experiencing. And so I really wasn't expecting much. I didn't know how big this company was. I didn't know what kind of a response I would be getting, and I was definitely expecting to be waiting up to a week for any kind of a response. So you can only imagine my shock when less than 2 days later, Kelly herself emails me back with a lengthy description, validating my pain and my concerns and encouraging me and reassuring me that everything that I was describing could be addressed in one of their specific programs for pregnancy, which was called the Prenatal Core Program. Honestly, I almost started crying when I opened up that email and started reading it and realizing that someone was finally listening and someone finally had some answers for me. That said, there was a bit of a cost involved in the program that to me just made me a little bit hesitant. At the time, it did not feel cheap by any means. It felt quite expensive for something that I still wasn't 100% sure would do the trick. But my pain wasn't going away. In fact, it was kind of continuing to get worse at times. And my belly was still growing. So I figured I probably still had quite a few weeks more pain to go through at this rate, and finally decided to take the plunge and give it a try. I am so glad that I did. I was very pleased with how the program was set up. It's very well paced. It is a lot of information to take in at first, but that information, at least for me, was so incredibly helpful to be able to understand what was going on. Kelly is just incredibly knowledgeable and compassionate, and you can tell that she speaks from a lot of experience, both personal and just through learning. I think she absolutely loves to learn, and that comes through in her teaching. I would say that the program was hard, but definitely doable. And I was most certainly noticing improvement within the first 3 weeks. Until about the 4th week, I hit a wall. I got very frustrated and was feeling very overwhelmed, felt like my body was not cooperating with me, and I just couldn't figure out how to implement some of what was being asked of me in the program, and it was just feeling like too much at that point. Because basically it's a bit of a layered program. So you start off with some very basic things for the first week, and then every week from there it's just building on some of those basics, and you're adding a little bit more and a little bit more to challenge and strengthen your muscles. And I was just having a very hard time with that. I was having a very hard time grasping that next level of strength and coordination. So I kind of put things on pause for about a week, and then eventually decided to take advantage of a sale that they had going on and booked a one-on-one session with Kelly herself. Again, I am so glad that I did. She was so encouraging and helpful in solving my problems in a very, very short amount of time. I only had 30 minutes with her to briefly address the problems that I was having, and giving me some modifications or additions to what I had already been shown in the program. One of her sayings is, whatever we do the most wins. And so if you're trying to do something and it's too hard or it's just not working for you, then you're not going to ever learn how to do it properly, and you're not going to break bad habits. And so by giving me these modifications, she was giving me little wins. She was giving me the ability to have success. So from there, the rest of the program went very smoothly. Basically, once I completed week 4 and kind of moved beyond that, I had everything in my toolbox that I needed to strengthen my body and to either avoid or manage whatever pain I was experiencing due to my pregnancy. So from there, the program just kind of moves on to give you tools for labor and delivery, a lot of different things to consider, whether you're facing a C-section or vaginal delivery, and how to approach those things in the best way possible for not only the health of your baby, but for your own health. I also realized that what I was being given was not just a 6-week program to a pain-free pregnancy. I was being given tools for life. This program is based on something called functional integration, and that's precisely what it is. It is practically plugging these things into your life and learning how to do life differently, learning how to utilize your body differently the way that it was intended to. Your core is the center of your body, and if it's not strong, if you feel like you're flopping all over the place, it really does something to your mental state, I believe, and it's extremely helpful to know that you are being held together the way that you need to be in order for the rest of your body to be able to function as it was intended to. So, do I recommend this program? If the only reason why you would sign up is to have a pain-free pregnancy, then I would say no, because that is not necessarily what you're going to walk away with, and it is quite costly if that is all you are looking for. I still have pain some days. It's definitely very intermittent, and it is absolutely nothing compared to what it was. But I do still have pain some days, and it's just a matter of my body has continued to grow. There are aches and pains that come with pregnancy, but now I know how to better manage them, at least. But if what you want are tools for how to effectively carry a baby within your womb and how to not feel like you're falling apart in the process, and then be able to confidently go into your labor and delivery with tools to utilize there, and then go into your postpartum stage with more tools and more resources to feel put together and strong, then yes, I would 100% recommend this, because you will walk away with all of that. When I started comparing it to the cost of what I would be paying out of pocket for an in-house physiotherapy session, I realized that I am paying very little for this program. This is highly dependent upon where you live, what those services cost, but for me, this whole program and everything that I ended up investing into it was the equivalent of 2 in-person sessions in which I would have gotten a fraction of what I've gotten from this program. So that is my review of the Tummy Team. I am leaving links in the description box below for specifically the prenatal core program that I took, and hopefully this review is helpful to you in determining whether this is something that you could utilize. I'll also be leaving some links to their YouTube videos for just helpful postpartum tips that I've come across. Those are entirely free. You'll be able to check those down in the description box below for things like parenting postures that will hopefully help you in your motherhood journey. Thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.